Make way through.
We're live.
Hey.
How is everybody? We don't have anybody watching yet, but if you're watching afterwards, how are you?
I'm doing well.
You're doing good?
Yeah, just cleaned my teeth.
Those things are the best. So good. We'll give everybody a couple minutes. We're a little bit early. Hey. Always say hi. Because we can't see who's watching it all. Who is that? I was going to guess it was you, Afkar, but I wasn't sure. So glad you're here. We are doing a gut health workshop. So if you are, hey, Nikki. If you're just joining us, I can see who's watching. I can just see the number of eyeballs at the top that tells me how many people are watching.
So we've got a couple.
Yeah, got 6 right now. We'll give everybody just a couple minutes to get on. I'm going to share my PowerPoint screen to get us ready. Good. I think I like that better.
Yeah, that looks good. I like that.
Howdy.
Hey.
Hope everybody's doing good. It is Monday.
You got a joke?
Have I already told my favorite joke? Do you guys want to hear like a poop joke since we're talking about the digestive system? Knock, knock.
Who is there?
A pile up.
A pile up who?
Get it? Like a pile of poo? It's a good one. But I've told it so many times. I have to get some new jokes.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Hey, April. You're just in the room right over there.
Somewhere over yonder.
Did you guys like the joke? Hope so. You can use it if you want to. You don't even have to give me credit.
Well, it's not your joke.
Well, I know, because I don't even know where I heard that joke.
No,
Afkar, you like it?
No credit given.
Well, let's get started. It's about 6:02, and so tonight we're going to go back and forth. So I'm going to start, then Dr. Michael will go back and forth, not both of us at the same exact time.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
I thought we were going at the same time.
No, okay. Anyways, so tonight it's really all about educating you on your gut and thinking about just digestive disorders in general. They can be very difficult and almost embarrassing, especially people with conditions like IBS or SIBO, which is like small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, or those with colitis. Like, they can be pretty debilitating diseases and disorders, and they're very common, but sometimes it can be super hard to even just get under control. And what most people, though, don't understand is how much the gut plays in your brain health, your emotional health, joint support, skin health, immune function. And even if you don't have any like digestive disorders, what most people don't even realize, though, is that some of the health issues that you have could actually be coming from the very first part of intestinal breakdown. So some examples are signs of digestive system dysfunction are leaky gut, asthma and allergies, Crohn's disease, autoimmune issues, irritability, bad breath, food allergies and food sensitivities, skin fungus, depression, or even other mood disorders, hormone dysfunction, liver and gallbladder issues, diarrhea, constipation, IBS, nutritional malabsorption, mental disturbances, acne, eczema, abdominal bloating, stomach ulcers, adrenal fatigue, chronic fatigue, ADHD and autism, ulcerative colitis, rashes, hives, acid reflux, low energy, and joint pain. So if you are dealing with any of these issues and you want a natural solution, this is the webinar that you need to be on. But I'm also going to ask you something. If you know someone who is suffering from any of those things, please share this with them, knowing the debilitating effects of what digestive system stuff can do for people's lives. This could truly be a solution. And whether you invite them onto it now, and like, I know there's things called watch parties. I don't even really know how to do that or what that means, but perhaps afterwards, you could share this with somebody that's a friend or a family member or a coworker or somebody at your church to help them to get help naturally. So this is hold on, I just have to click this part right here. There we go. This is the team behind all of what it is that we do. It is not just Dr. Michael. Like, we have a fabulous team that we love dearly. We even added 2 more people to this picture. We have to get an updated picture, but I'm not going to just draw stick figures in there, but maybe next time. But we also have Sylvia and we have Shauna. And so our whole mission as a team is to really educate and lead families on how to get healthy and stay healthy. So that's exactly what Dr. Michael and I are going to do for you tonight. Woo! Let's get started. Yep, you just click. Beautiful.
So we're going to talk about we're talking about gut health. And a lot of times when we talk about gut health, some people are like, well, my stomach is fine. And in reality, when we talk gut health, it's not just, the stomach, it's the entire GI tract. So it starts with the mouth, and then it goes to the esophagus, and then from the esophagus, it goes to the stomach, small intestine, large intestine, and then rectum. So before we even can get into what to do, we're going to talk about kind of like what Dr. Kess was talking about, the pee and the poo. Stuff has to come out. But the thing is,
you tell him your song. Dr. Michael made a song as he was going through this. He goes, I'm a tube and you're a tube. We're all just a bunch of tubes full of poo.
Is that what I think?
Yeah.
So basically that's essentially it's the truth. You are just one big long tube. The thing is, from the time something goes into your mouth to the time it leaves your body, you should have been able to absorb a whole bunch of stuff. So that's kind of what we're going to get into. And so we have the GI tract. And then on top of that, we have three major organs that help us digest and break down food. So you have the liver, you have the pancreas, and you have the gallbladder. And without all of these things working together, we're not going to get what we need out of our food. So the biggest thing is, well, I won't say the biggest thing. I say the first thing is absorption. So everything that we do, every part of our body, every organ, every hormone, every tissue, every cell, it comes from the food that we eat. So food is extremely vital, what you're putting in your mouth, but even more important is what are you absorbing from that food. So what we want to look at is, are we eating things that we need to be eating in order to create health in our body? And when we eat things like carbohydrates, they break down into simple sugars. Our body needs sugar to function properly, but we can either eat, a healthy sugar or an unhealthy sugar. And then you've got fats. Fats break down into fatty acids, and then they also break down into glycerol. And then you have proteins that break down into amino acids. And literally, once this stuff hits your tongue, it starts breaking down. And the issue is when we don't have the proper absorption of nutrients, that's when we really start to see the detrimental effects from having a bad GI tract or an unhealthy gut. So, microbiome. Every time we do a talk, whether it's a webinar or in the office, I always try to find something that I've never seen before and that blows my mind. So I found this study, and it's about microbiome. So that's what I'm going to get with. So they took these rats, and there was 2 sets of rats. There was one cage that was basically like a wire cage, So like air could get in, normal, like just everyday life kind of cage. And then they had these other set of rats in like this plexiglass sterile cage. Like they pumped the air in, they filtered the air, they wiped everything down, everything was sanitized. It was a very sterile environment. And then they took these rats and they were in there for about a month, and then they let them go into a field to see like how do these rats now respond to real life. So the rats that were in the like cage, metal cage kind of cage, so they let them go, and they went to this like kind of like this open field, and these mice like navigated their way through the field and like strategically moved from place to place and doing things. And the mice that were in the plexiglass sterile cage that never saw any bacteria, they never saw any viruses, they never saw anything that we consider like detrimental in our society. They just aimlessly walked across the field, and majority of them got caught by birds and ate. So what they were trying to prove with the study is if you do not have the proper microbiome inside of your system, it affects the way that you think and the way that you act. So it's not just the gut that we're talking about, like Dr. Kess talked about earlier. It literally changes the way that you can emotionally understand your environment. And like I was like, so I guess if you're not being exposed to these things, you basically lose like your street smarts. You become like almost like a zombie, just kind of aimlessly going throughout the world. And instead, when we have these bacteria, a virus, and fungus inside of our digestive tract, it creates health, and it actually creates intelligence within us. Blew my mind. Then they did another study with rats, and they gave them 2 rings. So one was a big ring, and it had like a checkered pattern on it. And then they gave them another ring. It was smaller, and it was just a wood ring. So they put these rings in the cage, and they gave them like 5 minutes to examine them and figure them out. So same 2 cages. And then they took them out, and they took them out for 20 minutes. And then after 20 minutes, they put the same patterned ring back in, but instead of the smaller ring, they put in a star-shaped cookie cutter. And the rats or the mice that were in that metal cage never even went to re-examine the patterned ring. They went immediately to the cookie cutter to figure out what it was, because they already recognized the pattern ring. And then when you went to the sterile cage, the rats went immediately to the pattern. They examined it for about half the time, and then they transferred over to the cookie cutter. And what they're showing with this study is that not having microbiome inside of your gut lining affects your short-term memory. And the goal of the study is to see, okay, so if we are sterilizing and cleaning and COVIDing everything, are we going to be affecting the memory of people later down the road? Is this kind of like a step towards creating more dementia and Alzheimer's? So it was very, very interesting to me to see that if we do not have the bacteria, the fungus, the viruses, the gnarly stuff that we think is in our society, if we don't have that inside of our body, it has a detrimental effect on our health and our well-being and our mindset. So when we talk about the gut-brain connection, there's a really simple way to describe this. And when we're talking gut-brain, so the microbiome is one of the ways that our brain connects to our gut, but there's also obviously our nervous system. Nervous system controls everything in the body. Brain is directly plugged into every single organ, including, our mouth, our esophagus, our stomach, our intestines, and our rectum. So that plays a huge role. But the easiest way I can describe how the gut-brain connection works is, if you were ever to skydive and you jump out of a plane, that moment before you roll out of that plane, your stomach goes in knots. That's your brain telling you that, hey, there's a physical something that's going to happen. We need to get ready for it. And that gut-brain connection immediately responds to that. So we have that gut-brain connection. We have the microbiome that helps us with that. We have the nervous system that helps us with that. But then we also have this thing called the gut immunity. So 70% of our immune system lives within our gut. And if our gut is not communicating to our brain and the microbiome is not communicating to the brain, what we're doing is we're literally destroying our immune system on the inside, because like I talked about, those microbiome are bacteria, they're viruses, they're fungus, they're, what's that other word? Microbes. So all of these things within our gut lining allow us to get exposed to them, one, but those bacteria also help us break down nutrients. They also help us build new healthy cells. So when we lose this microbiome and our gut lining becomes destroyed, our immunity drops drastically. And we're going to talk about some other ways that happens later on. So what are kind of like the precursors to a damaged or unhealthy gut lining? Is inflammation, number one. And the number one thing that causes inflammation is sugar. We talk about sugar a whole lot in this office, but sugar is detrimental to the human body. The thing is, it literally goes in and it tears up your gut lining and creates this massive inflammatory response. And then when that inflammatory response goes on long enough, we get this thing called leaky gut. So leaky gut specifically comes from a lot of times from gluten. Gluten will go through your intestinal tract and it just starts punching holes as it goes. So now what happens is those bacteria, those viruses, those microbes, the fungus that are in our intestinal tract that are helping our body now start leaching into or leaking into our bloodstream. And that's when it becomes a detrimental process. And that's when we start to see the disease process of leaky gut and inflammation start to arise.
So I forgot to say at the very beginning, well, first of all, that's super powerful to like know that about your body, but how everything is so interconnected. Like God didn't make a mistake when he made our bodies. We're just not taking care of it like he intended for us to. But it's not easy. Like if you think about living in the world right now, it's not easy to be able to do that. Like the culture in the world doesn't make it easy for us to be able to do that. But Dr. Michael has on that side, he's going to look at any questions or anything that you guys have. Please, if you have questions or comments, put them in the bars. We can see them on YouTube or we can see them on Facebook. And anybody that makes a comment, even if it's not a question, but it's like a woohoo, amen, that's great, or whatever, it helps. It helps us. It keeps energy levels up. And so we just want to say thank you. And so we'll give away, last time I gave away a $50 gift card to Whole Foods, and we're going to do that again. So whoever comments, we'll put you in a drawing at the very end, and you will win a gift card to get some of the foods that you need to help your gut, which is what we're going to now start to talk about. So now that we've gone through like what your gut and your digestive system is, and how to identify maybe some of the issues and problems that you could be having, I really want to get into cause. So we're doctors of chiropractic, and it's DC is what the abbreviation is. But a lot of times we say like we're doctors of cause. We really want to find out what's causing it, because a lot of people that have digestive issues, they get put on steroids and prednisone and drugs and medications that are just covering it up. And we're not actually addressing what is causing the interference within your body that's not allowing it to work properly. So this is where I want to educate you. We want to lead you into getting healthy and staying healthy for the rest of your life. So I'm pretty sure you know it's no surprise as the major cause of poor gut health is nutrition. And the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, they did studies, and they wanted to see like how America ate, especially like, do they eat nutrient dense foods? Like, do they meet the dietary guidelines that they put out? And they found that more than 2/3 of Americans do not eat fruits and vegetables at least twice a day. That's crazy. Just twice a day, more than 2/3, the majority of America does not even meet that guideline. They found that 82% of people do not want to give up foods that they like. 62% say they have no time to track their diet. And another 60% say they like to prepare their meals within 15 minutes. Now, listen, I get that. Like, I'm not here to spend 2 hours on a meal. The quicker, the faster, the better, but not always. And seeing some of those statistics, I'm like, oh my gosh, like that is not good. So the biggest cause of why poor nutrition is you may know it. It's called either the Western diet, it's called standard American diet, it's called the SAD diet. And typically this is the diet of America. And so it's described, like if you look up what Western diet or standard American diet is online, it's really described as poor quality, energy sucking foods, typically consumed in the United States. So you think about fast foods, it's full of high sugar breakfasts like donuts, refined grains, sugary, fatty desserts, a high consumption of processed meats, prepackaged foods, fried foods. So you're probably pretty familiar with this type of eating, whether you did it once, you're doing it now, or your family eats that way. But on the contrary to that, when they look at things like the paleo diet and the keto diet and where you're eating real foods like plant-based nutrition, they're finding though that it is protective of cognitive impairment. It reduces cardiovascular disease. And they even talk about like how like cavemen back in the day, like they had a lot of threats, like their life was basically threatened every single day, but they did not have obesity, heart disease, and gut and digestive issues like we have today. So they're seeing that more and more poor nutrition and poor gut health are very interconnected and related. One study even found that poor quality nutrition can detrimentally impact our gut bacteria, causing many gut issues and conditions. And so we have to address this idea of nutrition. But what's really awesome about gut health is that it's absolutely reversible. But the first thing that we have to do is start to avoid harmful foods. Then we have to replenish those foods that are optimal for your gut health, and then supplementing with nutrients that are difficult to get from your diet alone. So that's what we're going to focus on today, is those 3 things. So let's first talk about the things that you need to start avoiding. The very first thing are artificial sweeteners. So that's things like sucralose, aspartame, saccharin, and those are fancy words for sweet and low and equal and Splenda. And what those do is they actually change the gut bacterial balance in your body to now deplete any of the good bacteria and cause the harmful bacteria to go up. Good bacteria could go down. This all results in gut issues, digestive issues, even problems with insulin secretion and weight gain. The second thing is processed and high sugar foods. So this includes things like frozen dinners, granola bars, cereals, hot dogs, and desserts. And if you know, I've talked about hot dogs, but I don't eat them every day. Those are highly processed foods that we don't want to have on a regular part of our diet. But also avoiding things like high fructose corn syrup and dextrose and maltose and trans fats and hydrogenated oils, which is pretty much in every single packaged food that's in the standard American diet. What happens with that is it starts to reduce the beneficial bacteria inside of your body. Then conventional meats. So this right here, especially in standard American diet, the reason conventional meats are highly consumed is because of the farming industry itself, that it used to be like farmers, local farmers, and they would have their farms and you would go there, but then it started to become an industry. So it was like, how can we make this go even faster? So any type of non-organic grain-fed meats, they're fed with antibiotics and genetically modified food that is very damaging to our gut bacteria. So we want to get rid of those. We have to avoid that and understand where our meats and our foods come from. Number 4 is alcohol. And so drinking alcohol in moderation, it's okay, but you have to think about what you're drinking. The majority of alcohol is usually high carb and sugary beyond sugar. And those things are the ones that we want to avoid. And studies have shown that a link to too much alcohol consumption can cause gut health issues and dysbiosis, which means that it's going like this with gut bacteria, but they need to be even. But there have been studies that have shown that red wine can be beneficial in just moderate amounts due to its polyphenol content, and those are plant compounds that can actually boost digestion and decrease harmful bacteria. So I just said that red wine is okay in moderation. Remember, I said moderation, okay? So then let's now get into what do we need to replenish. So the first one are omega-3 fats. So these are essential to human function, to overall wellness in your body, and to decrease inflammation. What's crazy about this is Dr. Michael and I just sent our blood to Spain to Dr. Helu, and just as a prevention, and we're just looking to see, so anytime that we can do something like that, we're game for it. And my omega-3s were so low, even as well as we eat. And his recommendations to me were 4 to 7 portions of fish every week. So that's like every day. So last week we ate fish 4 days a week. This week we're eating it 4 days a week. And that's because I'm going to increase my omega-3 fatty acids. And fish is a great source for where that comes from. So it's typically found in fish, but I want to give you some other options too. Wild-caught salmon is the biggest one. So as you can incorporate more of wild-caught salmon into your diet, the better. Herring, tuna, sardines, mackerel. So we got sardines and mackerel inside of our grocery list this week. So we're going to give that a go. Trout, chia seeds, walnuts, flax seeds, increasing those as part of your diet. So we put like chia seeds and flax seeds. I'm drinking flaxseed oil right now, but we put it in our smoothies. A handful of walnuts as a snack can help increase your omega-3 fats. Then probiotics. So you can eat probiotics. So you don't have to just take probiotics, but I'll talk about that in a minute. But these are foods like kimchi and sauerkraut and plain organic yogurt, not Yoplait, strawberry yogurt, Yoplait peach yogurt. Sweeten it yourself with those types of fruits because the sugar content is insane if it's not plain. But those that contain the good bacteria, they can start to repopulate the bacteria, the good healthy bacteria that you may have lost, and improve your gut health. Then prebiotics. This is becoming more popular that people are talking about, but so probiotics are the good bacteria in your gut, but prebiotics are essentially the food that the probiotics eat. And so prebiotics help probiotics grow and multiply. Now, where you get prebiotics are actually in fiber from fruits and vegetables. So if we're eating enough fruits and vegetables, we'll be able to feed the good healthy bacteria, and to repopulate the bacteria, we'll eat more of the probiotics. And then lastly, raw food. So if you don't know us, we like to eat raw food for, it just depends on how we did it. We ate raw food for an entire year. We just got finished off of like a 21-day raw food eating plan. But what happens is raw food contains the enzymes that aid in digestion. So when you're heating food, these enzymes then can become deactivated. So as a result, it puts more stress on your bodies for your body to then make enzymes to digest since they've been lost in the heating process. So consuming more raw foods like fruits and vegetables that haven't been cooked or processed in any way can aid in the digestion process of your body. So then let's get into what's formerly known as supplementation, but I decided to change the word to nutraceuticals. So there are some nutrients that you cannot get from your diet alone. So this is where nutraceuticals or supplements play an important role, especially in our gut health. So if you look up what the word nutraceutical means, it is a food containing health-giving additives. It can even have a medicinal effect in the body. But I want you to think about supplements differently. I don't want you to think of supplements like a medicine. Like, I have this problem, so I should take this supplement. That's not how we look at supplements. The way that we look at supplements is that our bodies are deficient in things and we need them in order for them to work and function properly. That we haven't been eating the best, so we need some help. Or we know that our nutrient supplies are low because the soil doesn't have as many nutrients in it, so we're gonna need some help. We're not gonna get enough of it from our diet. It's not to treat digestive issues. It's not to treat sleeping issues at all when we're doing this. I want you to think about those a little bit differently. So we created 3 different just like gut health bundles to help support your body's healing process. And so the first one is called the basic gut health bundle. And so what's inside of it is you see Max GI and the Probiotic 50V. So let me tell you about Max GI. I love Max GI. We have this all the time in our cupboard. We take it if we're going to really focus on gut health, like maybe we've been on a vacation or something, we just know that our body needs some help. It's lost some of the nutrients. The gut lining might have holes in it. We take it with us on vacation anyways beforehand. So what's inside of it? So there's 1 billion probiotics inside of it, so then it helps to support your gut. There's also an enzyme blend. So there's digestive enzyme in there like amylase, protease, lipase, cellulase, lactase. There's oregano oil, clove oil, and thyme oil. And what those do is it helps to kill off healthily the unhealthy bacteria. And it uses what's in there called lysozyme that actually cuts through unhealthy bacteria, allows the oregano oil, clove, and thyme oil to go in there and just eat it all up, and then allows your body to get rid of it. So this is gonna help any symptoms of GI distress in your body, any microbial imbalances inside of your body. So we love this supplement. And then I talked about probiotics, and probiotics are necessary, especially in gut health that you haven't been taking care of, especially if you're not going to add sauerkraut or kimchi to your diet. And what I love about this, there has to be billions of probiotics in a supplement. This one that I love taking this one because it's a highly potent probiotic. There's 10 of the most highly researched probiotics in there, but it also has a delayed release technology in it, so your body utilizes them as they need. It's also, first of all, made with 75 billion. Because probiotics are alive, in the processing of making a probiotic, you're gonna lose some. But I love that it's guaranteed that there's gonna be 50, but there could be more if all of those 75 haven't died off in the processing of a probiotic. So the basic health bundle tonight, it's 15% off. You can text your orders to April. She's ready to go with them. You can see the number right there at the bottom, 615-927-4571. Nikki is also going to post links to each one of these supplements. So if you're not in Nashville, you can order them. I just can't give you a discount, so you're gonna have to buy them at full price, but it's worth it to be able to have good quality supplements for your health. Then we have the Core Gut Bundle. So this is the same exact thing, but we're adding the Pro L-glutamine and the Gut Health Recipe Book. The Gut Health Recipe Book actually comes for free with this. You're just paying for those 3 supplements. But L-glutamine is the most plentiful amino acid inside of your body, but it is very much depleted when we are stressed out. And so right now would be a really good idea to be taking L-glutamine, especially during this time, okay? But even when you have like physical activity, like when you're under a great amounts of stress, even from just working out, it can result in a decreased L-glutamine. And so what I think of L-glutamine like is leaky gut like this in your lining, and L-glutamine goes into those holes and helps to rebuild, because an amino acid is a building block. And so it builds up and starts to patch the holes that are in your gut lining that could be coming from medicine, or it could be coming from unhealthy foods or stress itself. So we want to make sure that we get that all cleaned up. And now I want to talk about what this gut health recipe book is. You get it for free in the core bundle and the advanced bundle, which I'll talk about in a second. But if you just want to buy it, it's just $5 tonight. You can let April know. And if you don't live here, you can still get it for $5. You can text her, and we just need your email because it's an ebook, and we'll send it to you directly. But what's inside of it? It's a week-long meal plan that has breakfast, snack 1, lunch, snack 2, and dinner. So there, you will not be hungry with this recipe, this meal plan. There's also a grocery list that's there, so you can print it off and you can literally click and take it to the store with you or check it off. And then there's 12 different recipes. Like there's bone broth inside of there. There's some chow mein that I saw inside of there. So it's all kinds of great things, but you can text and get that. That'll all support your gut health and get you started. And then lastly is the advanced gut health bundle. You're going to know if this is for you. Like if you do have digestive issues, like you want to make sure that you are doing everything possible for your gut health. And this is going to be the complete one that does it. So it's complete and comprehensive entire bundle that you need. So it's all the same things that we talked about before: Max GI, probiotics, 50B, the L-glutamine, and then added to it is the Pure Path fiber. It's unflavored, but this helps with bowel function. So part of an estrogen cleanse that I send people, I add this in there so that it helps to regulate your digestive system. There's 12 different types of fibers from fruits and vegetables and seeds and tree extracts in there. And so we don't consume enough on a day-to-day basis, and we need that. And plus it's going to feed probiotics. So that is a huge one to make sure that it's part of. And then you're going to see Gut Renew powder and Gut Renew capsules. This one is not both of those. You can choose either one. I prefer the powder because anything that's liquid like that is going to be absorbed a lot better, but it is peach flavored. So not everyone loves peach flavor and they would rather maybe just take a capsule. It's the same. It's just in a capsule form. It's not going to be a peach flavor if you do that. But some of the ingredients in there are cat's claw, marshmallow root, which has been used for thousands of years to soothe stomach aches, help with heartburn, intestinal colic in kids, and constipation. There's also okra extract and aloe vera extract inside of the Gut Renew. That helps with like anti-inflammatory properties, ulcer healing, and then there's chamomile as well. So that helps to soothe everything in your digestive system, in your body, and it also helps to reduce diarrhea. So if you have struggles with diarrhea, IBS, Gut Renew powder is going to be an amazing product for you. So you can see the core bundle back here. You get 20% off tonight. If you buy more, we want to give you an even greater discount. So it's a 25% off of that. If you buy one at a time, it's just 10% off. So you don't have to buy bundles. If you want to buy anything, it's just 10% off. If you buy a bundle, we'll give you a bigger discount. And then lastly, making sure that you're always taking your daily essential vitamins. These are 15% off tonight, but this has inside of it a men's or women's multi, depending on which one that you buy, a B complex. It has optimal omega in it. It has vitamin D3 with probiotics and magnesium. These are things that we take on a daily basis. And the gut health protocols, you don't do that for your entire life. Like you're doing it to help heal your gut. You don't keep doing that. You change your food, you replenish, you do all of that on top of the supplements and the nutraceuticals. Okay, let's finish it out.
I was trying to log in. I know there's some comments. Trying to figure out how do I reply to those comments. So
we'll do them at the end.
So let's talk about stress. And Dr. Cassie, she just talked about how right now, literally a lot of people are stressing out. We've got, do we reopen? Do we close? What are we doing for work? What are we doing for our jobs? We're with our families 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That can be enough for some people. And she talked about these nutraceuticals that can help with that. But the thing is, we are doctors of cause, and we're always talking about let's get to the cause of the problem and remove the cause and the body will heal. And when we're talking about stress, right now it's almost impossible to get away from stress. But the thing is, stress is a good thing. It can be. Without stress, you can't grow. But the problem with our society right now is stress causes the fight or flight response, and the fight or flight response shuts down our ability for the body to rest and for our body to digest. So when we're in this constant state of stress, those two functions are shut down, and that is the key, like a key component to why a lot of people do have stress related digestive issues. And a lot of people come into the office and we always ask so when do you notice this problem the most? And 90% of the people that have digestive issues are always saying, when I'm really stressed out, my digestion gets really, really bad. And the problem is fight or flight is a great thing, right? The issue is your body doesn't understand if you are stressed out because of your family or your environment or whatever's going on in the world, or if you just came face to face with a bear. And either way, your body turns on the same reaction. So your heart rate's going to raise. You're going to have epinephrine and norepinephrine pumping through your bloodstream. You're going to have muscle tissue is going to have more blood flow, because the whole goal is for you to either stand there and fight off the bear or to run away. And either way, you're not going to take a nap and you're not going to pop a squat and just drop a deuce. Can I say that?
I don't know what you can say.
But you're not going to be doing those things when you're in that situation. So your body says, okay, we're not going to do that right now. Our goal is to get away or to fight. The problem when we're in that over and over and over and over and over and over again is our gut just starts to get destroyed because of these stresses. So we have to figure out how can we manage these stressors. And we're under a lot of stress too. We've got a lot of things. And one of the biggest things that has helped me personally is I wake up early. I steal away 15, 20 minutes. I read the Bible. I pray. I sit. I listen. She just put in a chair thing in the backyard. So now, literally, I can go outside and just listen to the birds or listen to the cicadas or listen to the wind or just have time and peace away. So whether it's that for you, whether you got to get away, whether you got to go hang out with some people that you love and care about, whether you go to the gym, you go for a run, you have to find the thing that can help pull you out of that state and let your body get back into a nice place of homeostasis where your body can start resting, it can start digesting again. And the thing is, those stresses aren't going to go away. But the best thing that we found is that you have to be able to strategize. And when I'm talking about strategize, you have to be able to. I am not a scheduler. I hate schedules. I don't like calendars. I don't like being told where I need to be and when I need to be there. But it is the best thing for handling stress. Is I know I have to do this, this, and this. I'm going to do it here in a controlled environment where I know I can handle it. And once you do that, you're going to find that these things that are piling up, on the back burner, you were slowly chipping away. That stress levels are going to come down right with that list. And the thing is, more peace creates more health.
I think we're having some technical difficulties with the links. So Nikki was just messaging me. So we'll get them up there. So if Just hang on real tight. We're trying to figure that part out. She has all the other links, but not to some of the products. So hang tight. But again, if you just joined us, or if you're on, hang with us. We got about a couple more minutes here. But if you have any comments or questions, we'll wait until the end to answer some of them if Dr. Michael hasn't on there. But you will be entered in to win a $50 gift card to Whole Foods for every comment, even if it's just a hey. So let's talk about toxins and your gut. So the biggest part about what toxins do with our gut is it punches holes in it, just like Dr. Michael talked about, causing leaky gut. But another big part of it is that it can affect the hormones that modulate digestion in your body. So cortisol, we all have heard that word before, but cortisol is a big part of digestion. Gastrin, secretin, estrogen, testosterone, insulin, serotonin, toxins can start to destroy those parts of your digestive system. So let's talk about BPA. A lot of you know what that is. Like, it's found in plastics, but it also can destroy and kill any healthy gut bacteria that we have, leading to inflammation and gut issues. So we make sure everything is either BPA free, but a lot of times we don't even buy plastic. Like, we keep it to glass and metal. So then that way there's no chance of it leaching into our drinks or food. Heavy metals. So heavy metals can also do the same exact thing, like disrupting the healthy bacteria in your gut and lead to issues. Now, we're exposed to a lot of heavy metals, and not from areas that you would think. The biggest part is our soil and water. And that's things like lead and arsenic. And you may remember, like, they talk about that there can be arsenic in apples and things because that comes from the soil. And because we're just kind of like letting metals go everywhere, it just gets leached inside of there. But also like amalgam fillings. So any mercury fillings can also be very toxic to our bodies, and you want to get those removed. If you have amalgam fillings and you want to talk about how to get them removed, please talk to Dr. Michael and I, and we'll make sure to get you the right protocol. And then the big one I just want to focus on is glyphosate. And so glyphosate is an herbicide, okay? And sometimes it's Roundup, basically, if you don't know. But I want to show you this picture. So you see that control right there? So that is gut lining, and that's cells like underneath the microscope. And then you can see on the right side, it shows what glyphosate does. So it literally destroys the lining of our gut. And so I sometimes feel like we're alone when we talk about Roundup. A lot of times, like, some will just like acknowledge that it's bad, and we kind of know that it shouldn't be good. But then we just don't do anything about it. We're like, whatever. But what it's doing, like infertility also, but our digestive system, birth defects, cancer rates, like autoimmune disorders, leaky gut, like what glyphosate is doing in our bodies is real, and it needs to be addressed. But it's finally coming to a head because last August, the biggest person and contributor of Roundup is the word Monsanto. And so in August 10th was like a tipping point because there was a $289 million court case against Monsanto. And it was led by Robert Kennedy Jr. And he opened the door for thousands of other people and lawsuits to go against Monsanto of the debilitating effects of what glyphosate does inside of the body. It's literally poisoning us. There are right now 5,000 plus cases against Monsanto that are pending. But on August 10th, one of those cases reached a verdict. A unanimous jury decision awarded $289 million to a former school groundskeeper who said that Monsanto's Roundup left him dying of cancer. The judge announced to the court that Monsanto acted with malice, oppression, and fraud and should be punished for its conduct. Yet we're spraying Roundup on all of our weeds. They're spraying Roundup on all of our food, and we're eating it, and it's destroying us from the inside out. It's destroying our microbiome. Think about it. It kills plants, like literally kills plants. So each time that we eat it, what is that slowly doing to us on the inside? So we have to have a conversation about this and really start to take this seriously. So how do we do this? Our gut barrier is literally the barrier and the divider between our digestive system and our bloodstream. It's our external environment, and our internal environment is all from our digestive system. It keeps nutrients in and it keeps toxins out. But if we're overwhelmed and bombarded by all of this, then no wonder why we're as sick and as unhealthy as we are. So what do we need to do? Number one, eating organic and local as much as possible. That keeps glyphosate out of your food. It keeps you knowing where your food is coming from. It keeps it free of toxins as much as possible. Number two, going completely gluten-free. Dr. Michael talked about how things pop inside of there, but that is where a lot of glyphosate is found, is in grain and wheat products. So making sure there's no gluten in your diet. And then three, you're gonna have to do one of the bundles or one of the supplements to help to support your body. One of the things that I get a little bit frustrated about is that a lot of people will say, you know what, I'm going on vacation, I have a birthday, like I'll detox after. No. The reason I'm saying that is like you're about to eat whatever, we still do it too. Like we go on vacation, but you're about to literally punch so many holes in your diet and you're into your digestive system that don't wait. You need to do it now. Otherwise, you're going to be digging yourself into a deeper hole, trying to get yourself out of it after it's done. No, that is why we take Max GI with us when we travel to help our body digest. That's why I take digestive enzymes when I know that my body's not going to have the healthiest food and the nutrients inside of it. That is why I do Greens First powder on a daily basis, so then I can get all the nutrients that I need inside of there. So don't wait until after that. Start it right now. Your food might not be there, but you can always do something to detox your gut. And then movement. Movement improves your digestion, like not only your mood and reduces your risk for cardiovascular health, obesity, all of that. But one of the benefits is it's like kind of like a massage for your stomach and your digestive system. It helps to improve circulation there, which also helps like your core muscles and your stomach do what it needs to do. It can relieve constipation or even menstrual pain. So that's all connected together. Then they've also done studies that we heavy focus on nutrition, but Sanford did a study and they found that people who committed to the goals of exercising and healthy eating simultaneously are the ones that met their goals and outperformed those that only committed to an exercise goal. And I meet with you guys, and a lot of times it's like exercise. Well, you need to do both. If you really want to meet your goals, doing both is going to help you get there. I'm not getting into detail about movement only because our next workshop is all about it. So movement workshop is going to be on Monday, August 10th at 6. We are really considering having this live in our office for a limited number of people, and then also having it as a webinar. So stay tuned on that. But I want to give you what's going to happen. The average adult sits 6.5 hours a day. We live a sedentary life, and it's mainly because of work. And some of the excuses are, I don't have time, I don't know where to start, it's too difficult, gyms are too expensive, and I don't feel like it. We are going to address all of that. We're going to talk about motivation. We're going to talk about like the major problem that motivation, it's temporary. And so we want to help you get through that. We're also going to talk about protecting your joints, high impact exercises, low impact exercises, nutrition before and after a workout, and then also how to make sure that you're building muscle and supporting that. Nikki's gonna put a link there so you can get registered.
We're almost there, guys and girls. So hang on with us. So Core Chiropractic, we're chiropractors, Dr. Cassie and I. Again, DC stands for Doctor of Cause. Our whole goal is to get to the cause of the problem. And the reason why we as chiropractors look at your spine is because your spine was designed by God to surround and protect your nervous system. And your nervous system literally controls every single function in your body. So if your spine is not in the proper position, it will cause damage on the nervous system. That damage will cause organs to malfunction. And when organs malfunction, it leads to early death. And our whole goal is to teach families how to get healthy and to stay healthy for the rest of their lives. And you can't do that when there's damage and pressure on the nervous system that's controlling every function within your body. So the thing is, when we're talking specifically about gut health, we talked about the GI tract, and then we also talked about 3 major organs. So we have the liver, the pancreas, and the gallbladder. And when we're talking right now in this day and age, Dr. Cassie just said it, people are sitting 6.5 hours. And I think that stat is probably way off now after the shutdown of a lot of things. A lot of people are at home 99% of the day. And what they're doing is they're sitting at a computer, and their computer is usually a laptop just like this one here. And when we're sitting at a laptop and it's dropped too low, what happens is the laptop is below where it should be. So we start to do this. And when we're talking about specifically the liver, the pancreas, and the gallbladder, those 3 organs have a specific nerve that directly connects to them and controls their function. And it's called the vagus nerve. And your vagus nerve sits right below your skull. So when we start to lean forward at our computers, our skull goes into what's called extension. That top nerve is right where the vagus nerve exits. There's a lot of compression happening on that nerve. So is there any way possible that your brain is communicating life, health, and function at 100% down that nerve into your digestive tract, your liver, your pancreas, and your gallbladder, allowing your body to heal and function at 100%? It's absolutely not. So what we do in our office is we analyze specifically the position of the spine to make sure that every single nerve is functioning at 100%. Therefore, your organs are functioning, your muscles are functioning, you don't have aches, you don't have pains, you don't have headaches, you don't have digestive issues. The body just heals. So that's what we're talking about when that spine begins to straighten out, that skull goes into extension. It is clamping down on your brainstem and your vagus nerve that controls your digestion, your ability to rest and digest, your ability to handle stress. And if we're not doing it properly, the body's malfunctioning. So how do we know? When we're specifically talking about gut stuff, these are the biggest warning signs that we see in our offices: upset stomach, unintentional weight changes. So whether you're gaining weight or you're losing weight and you don't know why, sleep problems, fatigue, food sensitivities, food intolerances, constipation, diarrhea, bloating, skin issues, excess gas. So Dr. Cassie and I, we did a cleanse recently, and it was a gut reboot cleanse. And we both found out that neither one of us do very well with onions. And the reason is because after we would eat onions, we would have massive amounts of gas and we would both be farting all night long. So we don't eat them anymore. Acid reflux, low back pain, sciatica, problems with insulin regulation, so diabetes. And then the one we talked about earlier in the study with the rats is memory issues. So if you know somebody or if you're dealing with this stuff yourself, now is the time to figure out what's going on. How do we correct the problem? Is it the spine and the nervous system? Is it the gut alone? Or is it a combination of both? And these are the things that we do in our office every single day to help people get healthy and to stay healthy. So if that is you and you've never had your spine evaluated, if you go to Major Family Chiropractic, on the front page, on the right side, there's a spot that says, Nikki's posting a link. All you gotta do is give us your information, your name, your phone number, your email, and then we'll give you a call and we'll set up an appointment time. So normally that appointment's going to be $100 to $120, but because we are on this webinar, or because you're on this webinar, we're dropping the cost of that down to $40, 40.
So last few things, if you have stayed with us this far, we want to give you a gift. So Nikki is going to post a link that says a gut health perspective. And so this right here, it's just an excellent source that you can have at home to incorporate the 5 essentials that we just talked about and your gut health. So we just want to say thank you. Let's talk about some action steps. You probably learned a lot today, or some of it was just reiterated. So what I want to talk about with action steps is just pick a place to start. I wanted you to start at chiropractic only because everything runs and controls from there, not because I'm a chiropractor. So you could not live here, and I really want you to get connected with a chiropractor. You can go to maxliving.com, find a clinic, and you can find one close to you or your friends or your family. Please share that with them so their brain is connected completely. Number 2, really starting to work with the diet, movement, and the nutraceuticals all together. Like that is number 2, making sure that is all in alignment and that you're working your way into avoiding, replenishing, and supplementing. And then the third thing I would say is to get signed up for the next event. There is nothing like staying on a momentum pathway and continued education. We have to do it every year. And we continue to learn, and we learn all the time. So some of our upcoming events, the next one will be on Tuesday, August 4th. It is, I'm going to talk about blood type webinar. So this is going to be me Tuesday, August 4th at 5:30. You may have heard of this, but it's the most popular like personalized diet system in the world. It was crazy. They did a study with 6,617 individuals. They reported their results from doing the blood type diet for a period of 1 month or more, and 3 out of 4, about 71 to 78%, had significant improvement in their health condition. Weight loss was an effect that most observed, but there was a number of people that had digestive function improvement, resistance to stress, overall energy, and mental clarity. So it's a very personalized diet based on your biochemical makeup of your blood type. So I want to go through all of that with you. And then of course the movement workshops that I just talked about, get signed up for those. You can, I don't know if they're on Eventbrite yet, but you can click the link and we'll make sure that you get registered, or you can put it in the comments and we'll make sure that you get registered, or you can register in the office. And we know it's a season of connection basically on our phones. So you can connect with us online on Instagram. It's where we post a lot of recipes and different things on health. And then of course we have our podcast called The Health Majors. They're, I love them. I actually listen to every single one of them after we do it. So you can also see that there. Let's go ahead and we will take it to any questions.
So question.
Hi, Jordy. My brother's on here.
Question from Jordan. What's the best way to clean up a child's diet after years of the SAD diet?
So we watched our sister-in-law, Andrea, do this with her kids. Like, so they only used to eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, chicken nuggets, all of that stuff. And she had to get super creative. She would stick zucchini and all of that, and she would still make brownies, and she would still make that stuff. Or she switched to like the organic version of cereal. She transitioned out of like having them drink milk, all of that. And so I think it's being creative. One of the ways that I help moms is I ask the kids, I'm like, what are your favorite vegetables to eat, and trying to eat more of those. And sometimes even smoothies can be a great way to get kids to transition, because their taste buds just have to change. And the other thing I'll say is that kids are not going to starve. So they can figure it out. But I know we don't have kids, so I don't have to have that struggle with children to be like, eat your vegetables and then fight about it. But you're going to have to go through some of the fights with them, and stand your ground with it, and be able to buy like maybe organic Auntie's macaroni and cheese for right now. So you get rid of the glyphosate. So
I also think about like what we do with my dad. So my dad is a very picky eater. So we basically hide things in foods that he likes, and we changed out the ingredients. So obviously going more organic with a lot of the stuff, but literally pulverizing fruits and vegetables and hiding them and stuff so that he would eat it. He would get the nutrients, but he wouldn't know he was getting it. Love you, Dad.
That's his dad. So his dad is not a young child, and it's like, you can do it. You absolutely can. It's just starting somewhere. I love greens powders, and there's like, greens powders taste like chocolate, and so it has 14 to 18 different vegetables inside of it, organic vegetables. And so putting that, they think it's hot chocolate, or they think it's chocolate milk, because it doesn't taste awful. It tastes actually really great. You can hide it and still get them all their nutrients while they transition into healing up their gut and then making better choices when it comes to their health. Are we figuring out the do we have any more questions?
Yes. So Nan asked, how do you get your family on board? So this is how Dr. Cassie did it a long time ago. She changed and she went on the raw diet, and I was not on the raw diet. I was probably not on any diet whatsoever. So I was cooking my meals. She told me she wasn't going to cook my food for me. So I was cooking my meals. She was cooking her meals. And I started smelling her stuff. I started like seeing it. I'm like, man, this stuff kind of looks pretty good. Let me try it. So I started trying some of her foods, and they were really good. So then I just started like slowly like, hey, how about we just eat your dinner tonight instead of making two different dinners? And it just became this thing. And that was when we became basically raw for that whole year. It all started because she wasn't going to cook for me.
And I would just be like, hey, do you want to try this? 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 I think the best thing, family is the hardest, just so that you know, Nan. It's really hard to get your family to change, and you can't change them, of course. But, and I think every family is a little bit different too when it comes to that. I think people are surprised with how healthy things can taste good. So that's why I would be like, hey, you want to try my meal and just kind of see and go from there. Sometimes I would bring my own stuff and everybody else would eat like that. And I just had to have a strength inside of me to be like, well, this is what I want to do. My health matters a lot. And so I'm just going to keep going. Ben asks, do you have a recommendation on where to go to get blood work? I'd like to see where my what is? Where my starting point is. So we do blood work in our office. I actually really love the testing that we do, where it tells you your nutrient biomarkers, and it tells you like if you're deficient in B vitamins. It tells you what vitamins you absolutely need to take. And the cool thing is you don't stop taking them, so you can see if the supplements that you're taking are good or not. It's called Genova Organics test. And then we also have an organics blood spot fatty acids test to tell if your omega-3s are off, your omega-6, omega-9s, if you have trans fats. It also tells to see if you have any candida, yeast, or bacterial overgrowth. April and Nikki just did theirs. They can tell you all about it. But if that's not the route that you want to go, I can let you know, like I love any lab test now. And any kind of test I love. I love testing beforehand so you know where your baseline is. I just prefer that test because it tells you nutrient deficiencies. So, yeah.
Nan says she's glad she can have a beer every now and then. I'm
Yes.
right there with you. I enjoy a beer every now and then. Not a huge beer person, but
I don't know why. I don't know why Nikki's not getting to send everything, but we will make sure that it gets on there.
And that's the last of the questions.
Great. If you guys have any other questions, please let us know. We'll be happy to answer them. Know that we love and appreciate you all for being here. We actually tried to make this 45 minutes, but you know us if you've been on any of our webinars. So we appreciate you staying on for this hour plus. Get signed up for the next workshop. Start somewhere, anywhere. and your body will be thankful. Okay, we got something?
Donna, yes, you can take vitamin D and 50B at the same time.
Yeah, there's not enough probiotics in the vitamin D3, Donna, that would like really cover. It's really just to help the vitamin D3 absorb into your small intestine. So by taking probiotics at the same time with it, it helps your body absorb it. But having extra is a much needed thing.
She also asked, what's the weight per serving? I think you were talking about probably fish then.
I don't weigh it. I don't know. We get pre-frozen. So pre-frozen helps so that you don't have like parasites and bugs inside of fish. Unfortunately, that happens. And so we get it at Costco and it just comes pre-packaged. So we eat 1 or 2 of them, just depending. But 4 to 7 portions is what I have to eat every week. This doesn't mean everybody has to. And I have to drink flaxseed oil. Any other questions? Okay, we love you. We'll see you soon.
Bye.